Mark. So, Jay, the week is finally up on us. Super Bowl week, Super Bowl 55, live from Raymond James Stadium.
Raymond James.
This Sunday, the 7th at 6:30 Eastern. As we know, between your Buccaneers playing virtually a home game versus the reigning champ Kansas City Chiefs, Jay. So we have been, in thinking about this, Jay, over the last week, as far as what is going to make or break this game between what is, to me, two pretty evenly matched teams, which is the way it should be in the Super Bowl. You have to think, all right, what ways can this team win and in what ways can they lose? Because I think there are both exist for each team. Each team can beat the other. So I want you to give me two ways that each team can win and two ways that each team can lose, starting with the Bucs. So with the Bucs, when you think about them, their game plan, what they have on personnel, etc., what are two things you think they have to do in order to win this game?
So I think two things that Tampa Bay has to do in order to win this game. We may need to show up like the 2002 Super Bowl. Defensively, we have to dominate. And that's kind of the piece, as you mentioned in your solo this weekend, about how your 49ers went up against this exact same team last year, in which your team was all defense, and they did everything that they were supposed to do to win that game. Your only issue is you were limited at quarterback, who likes to throw the ball with his eyes closed and make sure that they're intercepted. That's the complete opposite of what Tampa Bay has right now. Defensively, they have a top 5 defense, and offensively, they have a quarterback who's competent enough not to make those type of silly mistakes. So as long as the defense shows up, they got it. That's one piece. Secondly, Tom Brady cannot throw 3 interceptions and 7 passes because the Chiefs is one team that will make you pay for any turnover that you give them the opportunity to take. So as long as Tom Brady doesn't just chunk it in the air when he feels pressure, and the defense plays physical, we'll be fine.
For me, two ways to win. I think first thing you have to do is they have to pray to whatever God or spiritual entity they do or don't believe in. You have to pray. Pray that you can be nearly perfect in all 3 phases of the game. Because as Kansas City Chiefs team, they can take advantage of any mistake that you make in any phase of the game. And I was convinced, it's based on my solo show, in order to beat this team, you have to play a nearly flawless game. You can make a few mistakes here and there. They cannot be big mistakes, but you have to be as close to perfection as possible in all 3 phases, or else this Kansas City team will exploit you. They will run past you. They have to do that in all 3 phases. Second thing, control time of possession. You have by far the better run game. 2 Pro Bowl level running backs. You need to do that for the obvious reasons that everyone always says, to control time of possession and therefore take a possession or 2 out of Mahomes' hands and keep it with your offense. They've got to be able to do that. If they can't establish the run, and it's not a given that they can, because I'm telling you, this Kansas City Chiefs defense is underrated. They got to control time of possession. They can do that, they'll win.
I think we're overplaying the dangerousness of Kansas City versus a team that actually has a defense. That like you mentioned, the way your 49ers played, they should have won that game.
Yeah.
The reason why they didn't win that game is because you're limited on offense. That's the one thing Tampa Bay is not in comparison to Kansas City. They're not limited on offense, and stopping Kansas City is not easy. I'm not saying that it is easy to do that. What I'm saying is that Kansas City hasn't been able to cover a spread. This is their first spread they covered in like 9 games. All their games are close. And the reason why they're close is because the defenses they've played over that mark of those spreads being so close is the defenses were good enough to do it. It's just I don't think a perfect game needs to be played, because you can make Kansas City make mistakes. You do have to be near perfect. But I think that's on both sides. I think Kansas City has to be near perfect as well. So two ways to lose this game, though.
Yeah, for the Bucs.
Losing the turnover battle. Tampa Bay has a top 5 defense. Argue with your mama about it. Their defense is legit. And Todd Bowles, all he needs to do is take a piece out of Belichick's book and go shut down the one player on Kansas City's side. And if you want to be smart, go after the quarterback. Force Patrick Mahomes to do things he don't like to do. Make him move both sides of the field all the time. And then make his wide receivers stay underneath. That's what you do.
That's interesting that you say that. As far as let's say their big three with Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey, which one to target? You say target Mahomes. That makes perfect sense because he's the apex upon which everything on that offense is balanced.
Yes, if you keep him running back and forth nonstop and keep the wide receivers in front of you, you'll be fine. Because if he's running as great of an arm as he has to chunk it downfield, he's not going to outthrow Tyreek Hill while under pressure like that.
I think that you have to stop Travis Kelce because yes, everyone's afraid of being bombed by Tyreek Hill, but Travis Kelce, he gets so many huge third down catches, and it seems like whenever he catches the ball, it's a guaranteed 15 yards. He just destroys the morale of a defense. Tyreek Hill, he can be schemed out of a game because Bill Belichick has done it, but Travis Kelce, he's the hardest one to me to stop. I know Tyreek Hill's dangerous. Everyone's afraid of him. He can bomb you. He's fantastic. I get that. But Travis Kelce, that's the one you have to stop.
Well, yeah, because he's automatic. He's an automatic
Yes.
dump. He's going to catch that bad boy, and and he finds a way of getting open and getting to open. He's really good in open space. Let's put it like that. Not being a football genius at all over here, but the thing I've always seen about Kelce is that he always finds that pocket enough time, but that's also the thing that I've noticed that Tyreek Hill's been doing over this season. Really, he's gotten really good about just finding the small pockets. Same thing with Stephon Diggs. I mentioned with those two are probably two of the most masterful route runners in the league. Add Adams to that list. You can even add Michael Thomas, even though everybody calls him the Mr. Slant because they say he only catches slants. They do a really good job of finding that small pocket that their quarterback can get them the ball. If Tampa Bay puts enough pressure on Patrick Mahomes with their front four, which they can, and you keep enough guys up front as well as deep, they'll be able to show. I mean, they did a good job against the Chiefs this season. I think the score was 27-24. You really slowed them down, and I feel like, I'll say this out loud, I think Todd Bowles is a better DC than what Kansas City has.
I would agree with that. All right, two ways the Bucs lose. I say, and you mentioned this earlier, Brady. If he gets more than one interception or if he throws an interception in the second half instead of the first half, they're not going to win this game.
Yeah.
Because that's all that they're going to need. And the second thing is Mahomes. If Mahomes goes Super Saiyan and elevates his game, regardless of what your scheme is, there's nothing you can do. It is not going to work. So him playing out of his mind, that will lose him the game as well. And there's nothing you can do about that.
No, you're right. Yeah. And so two ways for KC.
Yeah, to win.
I thought we do this to lose. I did it to win.
What?
Did we do the win already?
You're supposed to do Bucks win, two ways they win, two ways they lose, then the Chiefs, two ways they win, two ways.
Anyway,
so what did you just do?
I think beard mustache bull. All right, so two ways for the Chiefs to win is going to be, for them to win, they've got to be firing all cylinders. That's going to be the first thing. Their offense is going to have to carry them because I don't think their defense is going to be able to do enough to stop Tom Brady because Tom Brady has done a really good job of calling the plays and running the offense on his own with the help of Leftwich with everyone else. Them two playing together have shown that they have a pretty solid set of minds together. And with that, Brady's going to do enough to keep Tampa Bay in this game. That's the thing I can give to him. He'll do enough, even if it's him not actually throwing the ball, if it's him handing off the ball, Brady's going to do enough helping with play call to keep them in the game. So Kansas City's got to be firing on all cylinders. Any mistakes, Tampa Bay will exploit it. Number two, the other way for them to win is they got to figure out their defense. Their defense has to be prepared to stop Godwin and Evans, as well as whatever tight end Tampa Bay throws out there with Brayton, Gronkowski. You've got to be prepared for all of those receivers. But you know what? Let me flip that. I'm sorry. Let me take that one back.
Okay.
Don't let Tampa Bay run the ball. There you go. Make them throw it. Make Tom Brady's 43-year-old body beat you. Make that 43-year-old arm beat you. If you can make him beat you, you have a better chance because at that point, like you said, it takes away the time of possession. They can't run the clock. So forget what I said before about the wide receivers and all that mess. Kansas City has to stop the run game. They stop the run game, they beat Tampa Bay.
I say the first thing they got to do to win this game, Kansas City, is you have to attack Brady. You don't necessarily have to hit him a lot or even get sacks, but you've got to make him very uncomfortable. That's been the only thing that anyone's been able to identify over his entire 21-year career is once you make him uncomfortable, that's when you start to see the mistakes. And this is from throughout his whole career, not just when he became an older quarterback. So they have to attack him constantly, all 4 quarters. That playoff defense that was able to do that and, in a sense, bend but don't break against San Francisco, they've got to do that here. It's even more imperative that they do because you're facing an all-time quarterback, not his backup, Jimmy Garoppolo. So that's the first thing. Second thing is Kansas City, because of how much they're missing on the offensive line, down 3 starters, you're going to have to move the pocket a lot. Pretend like he's Russell Wilson and figure out ways to create new pockets on either side of where the offensive line typically is. Because if he just thinks he's going to stand back there and that line is going to protect him, I mean, could they play an all-time game? Yeah. But it's not likely being down. I mean, your left tackle especially being down him. So they got to figure out creative ways to move the pocket or just go West Coast, and it's a lot of quick passes to where the ball's out in under 2.3 seconds. But either way, you got to move the pocket. You got to protect Mahomes from what he doesn't have on the offensive line.
No, I'm with you on that. Mm-hmm. All right, 2 ways to lose.
Yes,
Mahomes' toe. You know his toe's been bothering him. It's been bothering him for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And if he's not able to be mobile, if his mobility is limited, they're going to have a lot of problems. Because that's the reason why I said Tampa Bay's way to win is to keep him moving. If he's moving too much, you might have a problem with him being able to really set and throw the ball. So that toe is one reason why they will probably lose. And then the second thing is the same way they will win is if they don't stop the run, if they don't force Tampa Bay to get rid of the ball on a regular basis, then you're going to run into an issue where you're going to take an L. You're going to take an L in this game.
Yep. So I say they lose. I know the run game is not their strength, but being down 3 linemen and the run game already not being your strength and the strength of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense being their run defense.
Oh, my. JPP and Donovan Sue have been eating.
Being completely dominated in the run, that's what's going to do them in because you're not going to control time of possession. You're not going to be able to pick up 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and you're giving the ball back to Brady. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if they can, but they have to figure out a way to compensate for that loss of linemen and still be able to run the ball, at least to where Tampa's thinking about it. They're not going to respect it, but they'll at least be thinking about it a little bit. You need that in Todd Bowles' head as he calls plays for the defense. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, kind of like I said with the Bucs and how they lose, I said Mahomes. With the Chiefs, it's Brady. It's his experience, his 9 Super Bowls worth of experience. If he is able to figure out what they're doing by the second half, Tom Brady can will this team to a victory because we have seen him do that against all odds multiple times in his career. And that's probably what it's going to take because I could see somehow Kansas City getting up on them or having the lead in the second half, and Brady has to pull another all-time performance out of his bag. This may be the last time he's able to do that, and this is the best team that he has had, or at least the best offense that he's ever had. So if Brady just goes God level on them and Mahomes can't match that, the Bucs are going to win.
I can see it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so final score. Are you ready to give your prediction yet? I know you still have time. I don't.
Yeah.
Do you have a prediction?
I'll let you give your prediction.
My prediction, and I lost sleep over this. I really, really did.
Wow.
Oh, man. And this has been one of the hardest ones for me to call. One rule that I tend to follow, like a lot of people, is never betting against Brady. My heart wants the Bucs to win this game. I don't ever bet against Brady because I want revenge for what Kansas City did to my team last year. I want your team to get revenge for me.
Yeah.
And I'm a supporter of the Buccaneers. So for that reason, one quarterback has played in 1 Super Bowl. One quarterback has played in 9. I got to go with Tampa Bay.
10.
32-29.
Yep. This is being his 10th Super Bowl. This is a toughie. All right.
I got to go with the Bucs and Brady.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to give mine on my solo later this week. I'm still debating. Honestly, I'm on both sides of the fence. I don't like betting against Brady, but at the same time, Mahomes has proven to me that I probably shouldn't bet for him, just against him on the spread. But expect him to be the money line cover. So we'll see what happens.